I'm gonna be honest, earlier before this game, I was thinking to myself, yo, we haven't had a shootout in a while, haven't we? And we got one here. We got one here. We lose in the shootout. And, man, it was not a good loss. It was not... It was... You could say whatever you want about the game, but I'm gonna talk about the loss. This wasn't a good loss. If we're gonna lose, I don't want to cough up 2 straight goals and lose it in the shootout. After an overtime where we didn't really have the opportunities to really get a good goal. You know? Like... I don't know, man. This game, Vancouver versus Toronto, I thought it was good. Thought it was good for the most part, but, you know. So, starting things off, this one, we're just gonna talk about the goals first. So, the first goal of the game, it's Vanek to Boeser, and I flipped. I actually flipped. Oh my god. Vanek is doing such a good job at really prepping Boeser into being a good player. We've heard it a lot, talking about how Vanek has always been sort of a mentor figure for Boeser. He played in the Minnesota area when he was in college, when Boeser was a little kid. So Boeser was really, like, familiar with Vanek growing up. And now, they're on the same line, and he's getting fed by Vanek, and he gets a really beautiful goal here. And then Sam Gagner. Actually, no, let's not talk about Sam Gagner yet. Let's talk about offsides. So, an offside was the reason this game wasn't 1-1 after that hilarious fluke of a goal let in by Jacob Markstrom. That one, Markstrom's so lucky, let's be honest here. That one was going to go, if that went in and if that was a legal goal, that would have been like the worst goal ever this season. And that's saying something because there have been so many bad goals this season just let in by Jacob Markstrom. But this one, though, it's off of Riley's skate right into the zone, and Matthews already in the zone, so I'm like, yep, that's offside. And it was offside, but it was called off. Markstrom, very lucky break. Later, on the power play, actually, speaking about the power play, there's something else I wanted to talk about the power play. On the first power play of the game, it was the normal squad. It was Sedin, Granlund, Boeser, and Edler. And there was one moment of the first power play where Edler had the puck, as he usually does, because Edler always ends up with the puck, as I talked about in my defense video. He had the puck. Boeser, tapping his stick on the ice. Tap, 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 tap. I want the puck. Give it to me. And what does Edler do? He winds up and he slaps it, and it goes wide, and then the play stops. So it happened. Again, I was talking about this previously. Edler never passes it to Boeser on the power play. And what do you know? The next shift, it's still on the power play. It's an offensive zone faceoff for the Canucks. It's the same personnel, Sedin, Granlund, Boeser, you know. But Jim Hugson on the broadcast, he goes, Derek Pouliot just came onto the ice in exchange for Alex Edler. Everything else remains the same. So right away, I was like, yo, they're doing it. They're taking off Edler for Pouliot. Yes! No more Edler on power play 1. But then it was, there was another whistle, and power play 2 came on, and Pouliot was there. You could say, oh, they were just changing the power play a bit earlier. But nah, man, I love the fact that Green actually had, like, the guts to switch out Edler in the middle of a power play for Pouliot. Unfortunately, I don't think we saw it afterwards. I think Edler remained on the power play, or on the first unit power play after, which you guys know how I feel about that. I don't like that. But that's something I noticed. Speaking of the power plays, I was talking about Gagner, right? Yeah, Gagner gets a really good feed. Daniel and Henrik. And he just winds up, slaps it right down. And like Thomas Vanek style, he just slap shots it right near the hash marks. It goes in. And for the most part, I believe that Jacob Markstrom at this point is having a really good game. Aside from like that one play where he was really bailed out by the rules of hockey. But he had a good game. I liked his play here. I thought it was sharp. And I thought a lot of the saves that he made were like, yeah, that would have gone in if it was the first shot of the game in some other games that we played. Yeah. He's making saves that I feel like he should be making now. And when you're talking about the goals that were scored against the Vancouver Canucks in this one, it was Austin Matthews, and the first one, that was really good. Like, Zach Hyman I really am a fan of Zach Hyman. I like him a lot, and he does a really good job at waiting it out and waiting for Matthews to get himself to the front of the net for a really good scoring opportunity, and he feeds it right through, and it's a good cross-ice pass. You can't really do anything about that if you're the goaltender. Troy Stecher, he tried to block it by going down. He barely was out of reach. That was just a good goal by Toronto. And I wasn't pissed off with that. I was sort of pissed off by the Boeser goal, because that one, they caught us. They caught us on a bad change. Boeser comes in. They're two back checkers, but they're a bit too far behind. Markstrom makes the initial save, and Boeser scores on the rebound. Man, it happens. It happens. It's hockey. Things like that happen. And for the most part, I know I could really understand why people were frustrated with this game. I mean, oh, we gave up a 2-0 lead. We lost in the shootout. We had Boeser off the ice for like 2 straight minutes on a power play in overtime. We didn't have a good opportunity to succeed in this game. And yeah, I know. I understand where you're coming from, guys. I see that. And I totally get it why some people would be pissed off with this game. Maybe I'm not pissed off about this game because I myself, I'm a Leafs fan as well. Yeah, I know, Leafs are my number 2 team. It's really weird, but I don't know. Like, overall, just watching this from a purely objective perspective, I think both teams played a really good game, and this was just a solid hockey game to watch, especially in the overtime. Oh my god. The overtime, I don't want to say if anybody played right or wrong, or if anybody was good or bad. It didn't end in a goal, and let's just leave it at that. But the overtime, oh my god. Oh my god, Boeser, he gets a penalty, and I know everyone was, oh, it's Toronto favoritism. It's Toronto favoritism. He gets a penalty in overtime this late into the game, and it's slashing, man. Sure, that wouldn't have been slashing like 2 years ago, but that's the fact, man. Like, the league has started calling slashing like this, and it's been prevalent this year. It's why Johnny Gaudreau is getting so many points. The league has started to cut down on slashing, and they're penalizing players for slashing the way that Boeser did. And I'm gonna say it, he slashed. That's the way hockey's played now, and I know a lot of guys don't like it, and a lot of people don't like it when it happens to us, but that's just the matter of the game, guys. I saw that as a penalty. Well, personally, I wouldn't have said, oh, that's slashing, but like in the context of the NHL today and this year, yeah, that's slashing. Which is why I wasn't mad at the penalty, I was just disappointed. I was like, yo, man, they're gonna score, aren't they? It's gonna be Marleau. But no, Marleau didn't score, because the Leafs, they just spent their whole time cycling it between the point guy and the guy on the left side, trying to feed it over to Marleau, but nothing happened. And then the shootout happened. The shootout, oh my god, Matthews, he gets an absolute 5-hole goal on a stoned Jacob Markstrom. He barely moves. He doesn't move, and Austin Matthews just comes in, shoots a 5-hole. There we go. That's it. That's it. That's it. Then, next up, we got Sam Gagner. Sam Gagner comes in, goes to the backhand, he scores. Marner's up next, and he gets stopped because Jacob Markstrom's got some pretty long legs. Boeser is up next, and Boeser, he tries to do it 5-hole just like Matthews did, but it didn't work. Didn't work. It got stopped by the stick. And in hindsight, I mean, this game, it doesn't feel rewarding. It doesn't feel like a good game for Team Tank. We got a shootout loss. Like, those aren't significant. Sure, we lost a point, but like an overtime loss would have changed the team instead of a shootout loss. Because shootouts and overtimes aren't really treated the same way in terms of tiebreakers and whatnot. So, overall, it wasn't really a good game for Team Tank. You could say it was a great game because Boeser got himself a goal. And you could also say that it was a bad game because Tanev got destroyed, basically. I have no idea what's going to happen to Tanev. If he's out, then he's out. And so be it, man. We've dealt with Tanev injuries so long. But that's hockey. That's hockey. Canucks dropped this one in the shootout. It doesn't feel good. Feels good for me, sort of, as a Leafs fan. But it doesn't feel good as a Canucks fan, for sure. But I do want to talk a little bit more about the Canucks because there were 2 players I was really impressed with in this game. One of them was Troy Stecher, and the other one was Derek Pouliot. Now, Stecher, he had a really good presence in this game, really good stick, really good at positioning himself well, and I don't know, man, there was something about Stecher that when he had the puck, he was breaking it out, he was on the rush, he was the guy carrying the puck out. I was like, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. There was an element to his game that made me excited every time Stecher was around the puck, because I liked his play this game. It was really strong. And Derek Pouliot, as a defender, my goodness, that was some of the best, positional defense I've ever seen. All the decisions that he made in our zone, I was so impressed with Derek Pouliot in this game. And then all the decisions he made at the blue line, all the decisions he made in the neutral zone, just light, quick passes, get it up ahead, free up some space. He did a really good job positioning himself when the Canucks were hemmed in their own zone as well. There were a lot of moments where I was like, oh, that's a goal, but then, oh, no, Pouliot interfered. Yes! Good job, Pouliot! There are a few plays where the Toronto guys had it, right point blank, and then all of a sudden you see Pouliot's stick come out there to block the shot. There were a lot of moments where the Toronto guys were in the crease trying to bang away at the puck, but they couldn't, because guess who was there standing in their way? It was Derek Pouliot. Pouliot has such a good defensive awareness, and that was really exemplified in this game. I'm so happy we were able to get him from Pittsburgh, and I'm so happy that he's just being given his opportunity to shine in Vancouver, because he's always had this talent. This is why he was drafted so high. It's just that it didn't really work out for the Pittsburgh Penguins, so now that we got Pouliot on our team, and he's kind of an important player now, especially since Chris Tanev is out, we're seeing that he's got talent. And him and Stecher, man, they were the best defensemen of the game. Hands down, in my opinion. They were the best. And I'm so impressed with how they were able to play this game, even though we still lost. We lost in a shootout. It happens. Man, at least Boeser got a really nice goal. He shot it really quickly. I loved that. And I hope you guys don't really get pissed off at me much because I said that I'm a Leafs fan, but it's been a few years, man. I've always been a Leafs #2 guy. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're plus and down shows like Last Press 9 Gaming, and bye.